The Amma falcon, Falco amurensis, is a small raptor of the falcon family. It has a wingspan of 63 to 71 centimeters and weighs about 120 grams. The male is a dark, sooty gray, with brownish-red thighs and vent. The Amma falcon breeds in southeastern Siberia and northern China. It migrates in large flocks across India and over the Arabian Sea to winter in southern and East African coasts. During migration, they can gather in thousands and roost colonially on exposed perches or wires. The Amma falcon's main threats are overharvesting from trapping, habitat loss from grassland degradation. Nagaland is known as the falcon capital of the world. The annual Amma falcon migration can be witnessed in Nagaland, Manipur, and Assam.
And today I feel so happy and pride and honored to be here with all of you as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of Amur falcon conservation in our state. You will agree with me that it's about 10 years back the state government, rather the community, has taken a responsible of safeguarding one of the world's most remarkable avian wonders, that is Amur falcon. And this falcon undertake one of the longest migrations of any raptors. Its extraordinary migration journey covering an stunning of about 22,000 kilometers annually. Their journey spanning from the breeding ground in Asia to the southeast reaches of Africa, including a marathon non-stop day and night flight of 40,000 kilometers across Arabian Sea, which is amazing, truly amazing. So let me share a little bit of my experience. It's about more than 10 years back. When we go to our native village, Rotomi, we always cross Waka. And every time we cross, somewhere around 2009, 10, 11, we used to find a lot of birds sailing on the roadside. Particularly, we used to stop at Waka, NSD colony side, that on the right side, a lot of restaurants are there. So on the left side, we come across a lot of birds selling there, you know. And such as someone has stated, was so cheap, with a bunch of 10, 12, you get it 300, 400, and 500. It's depend upon your bargaining power. And I used to be quite amazed. And I used to interact with the farming community. Why? What price? You know, something like that. So they used to share with us and with me that it is like a blessing. It is like a manna for them. You know, Doyan Hydro is like a manna because they are in a position to to sell it, and they are earning a lot of money.
Today is the day that we are commemorating this journey that all of us embarked on 10 years ago, never to look back again. History was made when zero hunting was achieved in 2013 via the efforts of the government and the NGOs and the unprecedented support of the community, as a result of which hunters turned into protectors and conservationists. This is the day we reminisce about all that has happened, and also the day when we resolve to continue our commitment towards conservation. So hearty welcome to each and every one of you. We are happy and grateful that you are here with us. Thank you.
The conserving Amur falcon have been recognized internationally. I am optimistic that these efforts will continue in the coming years also. I would like to express my sincere thanks to our Honorable DG, who has been, taking care, because, for Amur falcon, we essentially depended to Ministry for the funding is concerned. In this whole process of the Amur falcon, there have been few people who have been associated and who have provided the required technical inputs to us. But as the will of Almighty, we left us midway. This is the time to pay homage to their memory. One is Mr. Nick P. Williams, the former head of CMS Raptors Commute Coordinating Unit. He passed away close to his native Devon, UK on Saturday, 17th April 2021 at the age of 62 after a short illness. He was Chief Wild Inspector and later Head of Wildlife Integration Conservation in the UK government before joining CMS. He was a key member of Amur Falcon satellite tagging program team in India. He is the one to first pronounce Nagaland as Falcon capital of the world. He expressed his amazement after seeing the falcons at the Doyan that there is no place on the earth matching to the magnitude of congregation of any raptor species. He also expressed that the conservation efforts taken here in Nagaland are unparalleled globally and unimaginable elsewhere.
Falcon story. Well, 2013 I was not in the department. I was working with Government of India. And I am a photographer by hobby. And there are certain pictures which kind of leaves an impression at you which you will not forget your lifetime. It may be that picture wherein that child during the Ethiopian famine and the vulture sitting by its side. The child is just about to die. Or maybe that girl who is running from napalm bombing in Vietnam. Though I was not in the department and I was largely away from what was happening in Nagaland, I happened to see a picture wherein one person, he's carrying maybe like 100, 150 dead falcons, slung across the shoulder and kind of taking them to sell. And I said to myself, my goodness, what's happening? Knowing Nagaland, I have served here where hunting is still considered kind of it is considered, I would say, a legitimate way of living of the land. I said to myself that this bird is now doomed. There's no hope for it. But there are margin of errors, and there was a margin of error in my assessment also. I never knew that when I would come back to the department and join the things, I would come to learn that how a story, how it just turned around, and instead of bringing the bad name and the criticism that was so ripe at that moment, would be turned into praise and into a success story which everybody wants to emulate. So when I came to know about, when I came back, I'm a bird lover myself, so kind of, I was always interested to know, kaise hua, kya hua, how this was achieved. And then I realized that it was a concerted effort. It was a concerted effort, everybody joined hands, everybody realized that, this massacre has to stop. And there was a point, when everybody rallied together and turned the story around. And, as we just heard, that for the last 10 years, the bird has been having a safe passage. And except, this year I heard like one incident. Other than that, I am so proud to say that, Takawa led by his team, other divisions from the department, they've been doing wonderful work, and the birds have been kind of, now it's their safe passage is more or less ensured. But we are not commemorating only the 10th anniversary of this safe passage that was provided to the birds through concerted efforts. We are also commemorating the innate goodness that is there in the human beings. It may lie dormant for a while, it may kind of, the circumstances may suppress it, but given a fortunate moment, given this, enough motivation, we all would like to to bring this innate goodness in us that out and work for the society or work for a noble cause like say so we are also commemorating this innate goodness in us that was brought out. We are also commemorating the spirit of unity that was shown by various organizations, right from the church to the village councils to the student bodies to the department, to the police, and everybody put together, and how a horror story was turned out to be was turned around into something something beautiful and something which had what requires recognition at almost every level. So this story has kind of given a fresh hope to not only to Nagaland but to most other parts in Northeast that there's no need to give up even in the most difficult of circumstances. Things can be turned around provided join hands together and we let that innate goodness in us to come out. With that, I would like to conclude because we are already running short of time. Thank you very much.
Which is a legacy which I have inherited as the DFO of OCA, and also it is a responsibility for me and also my successors who will come. So we have to look at the past, but at the same time we also have to be mindful of our future, so that whatever good work has been done so far, we need to carry it forward in the right manner. So before we start off the presentation, I think context setting is very important because Nagaland is very unique. Nagaland is different compared to the other states of India. Especially more so because even though Nagaland is a very small state, it has a very rural population with 1,100 plus villages. But if you notice, most of these villages, they are having a good forest cover. So 73% approximately is having a very good forest cover of in the state. And additionally, one more thing to note here is that this forest cover is almost all entirely is owned by the communities themselves, which is a very unique situation. So in other parts of the country, we always see that the land is either owned by the government or the defense or the forest department. So this is unique that the communities themselves own the land. And most of these communities are part of the 16 tribes which are present here. There are certain challenges as well. So one of the main challenges being, if you notice there, you can see a gentleman there in complete attire, traditional attire. He's a Konyak warrior. So from the top to bottom, if you see there is a hornbill feather, then afterwards you have the hair of a bear, and then underneath that you have a wild boar teeth, the tusk, and below that earlier you can see the bronze heads, but earlier these guys used to be head hunters, so they used to be shrunken heads. And again below, if you see near the hand, you can see again it is like part of their attire, which is the bear hair. And similarly, even if you go to the leg, there are some parts of the animal. So in Nagaland, hunting has been a way of life, and it has been there historically and culturally. At the same time, it has also been used for survival because most of these villages have been at very remote locations, and also at the same time, the people have been doing this as a matter of pride because they are warriors themselves. They used to fight amongst themselves, they are warriors. Now the other aspect of it, legally speaking, so under the Constitution of India, Article 371A provides them a sort of protection, saying that the customary laws can be the customary laws can be protected by the Constitution itself. So basically it is a protection given by the Constitution. However, in 1981, the Nagaland State Legislature has accommodated the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. So the special law of Wildlife Protection Act has been accommodated, so that's a very positive thing. And needless to say, there is some amount of resource crunch at the state government level, which has been addressed by the Government of India and Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change as well. Coming to the bird itself. So here you can see the beautiful bird of Amur falcon. So on the left side you will find the female specimen, and on the right side you will find the male specimen. So if you notice, the female is looking a little healthier. So actually that is a fact because the female of the Amur falcon is slightly heavier than the adult male, you can say. And like already mentioned by my seniors, so this bird does one of the longest migration of 22,000 kilometers. And for a raptor, this is like very unique because this is the largest sort of migration done by any raptor. And they move from their breeding ground, which is marked in green there, and that is northern China and then Mongolia area, and then they go all the way to southern Africa and then return back. So that round trip is around 22,000 kilometers. Also, if you notice here, you can see that Amur River flows in northern China, Mongolia, that border area. No? So that is why the name Amur falcon has come about. Coming to Nagaland and also Northeast India. So there are quite a few states where the roosting happens. So Assam, Manipur, parts of Mizoram and Nagaland as well. So we have the major roosting sites in our Wokha district, in Peren, in Intaki area and also Longland. But however, we also have seen that since this is a bird which is migratory in nature based on its availability of food, so it also moves around. So the roosting sites keep changing. So this is like a roosting site which we have documented from the beginning, the last 10 years. So you can see one of the pictures of the Doyang River area, Wokha, where you can see the birds flying around. Again, you can see in Intaki National Park, Peren. And you can see in Newland. One of the important things to know about Amur falcon is its diet is predominantly insectivorous, meaning that it eats insects. And its preferred diet, especially in Nagaland and especially Wokha, is the termite, which you can see in that picture there. So you can also say that in one way it is helping the local people because it is eating the insects which may harm the farmers, the produce. So therefore it is helping out indirectly. So you can also say that. Now we also need to know, when we come to the Amur falcon story, Doyang is an important part, the entire Wokha, that Doyang reservoir area especially. Reason being that the story started here in 2012. So this river is the largest river of Nagaland. At the same time, the reservoir which was created in 2000, so the reservoir was established in 2000, and that time the water body it created is the largest in Nagaland. So it is like a wetland, and aptly it is also being called the falcon capital of the world because of the presence, availability of these termites which the falcon likes to eat. The hydroelectric project itself, it is a 75 megawatt project, but you see the catchment area. Catchment area is very large. It is significantly large, and one of the important factors to know here is the occupation of the local people there, the communities. So the communities largely are based on agriculture, they are based on fishing, and they are also having few people in government service. Now, fishermen, these guys are like the main protagonists in this story. Reason being that it is the fishermen initially were part of this 2012 episode, and then how Afro came about, the Amur falcon roosting area union. So, you can see the size of the entire water body, it's quite large. So these are some graphic images which is from 2012, but you can see that on the right side you can see that there is an Amur falcon bird which has been trapped in the net, and here you can see, I think it's a mosquito net which has captured so many Amur falcons there, and those legs which have been de-skinned. So I think I remember our seniors telling that it was being sold at ₹25 per bird. So I think that is how it started. And initially, like I have mentioned here, Conservation India was the first organization which actually brought about this story and unraveled this story. So at this juncture, I think we should also remember that the NGOs of Ms. Bano Haralu, who's this NPWCT, the leader of NPWCT, and also Conservation India, which was led by Ramki Srinivasan. So these two members and two other members, Shashank and I think Roko of Nagaland. So these members actually came about, and they actually tried to do some sort of investigative journalism, and then they came about this story. And they also said that over 1 lakh birds were being killed per season. Just imagine the magnitude. 1 lakh birds per season. Immediately what happened is when the story came about, the Deputy Commissioner of Oka immediately issued a order which said that all these bird killings has to stop. And that is one of the first actions or the reactions you can say based on what the story was unraveled. And immediately at the same time, Conservation India also launched a campaign. So in the campaign, they brought out a petition to our then Union Forest Minister, Mrs. Jayanti Natarajan, who was there. So they wanted this petition to act on, so that the minister will be able to act on it and then put pressure on the state government so that they will be able to stop this killing. We also need to understand the reason why this killing was happening. So first of all, this entire water body which was created in 2000, so it had submerged a lot of land, and also these people who were there, they had certain issues of compensation earlier, not in the later part, but in the earlier part of the submergence. And there's also elephant area; it's also having human-elephant related interface. And also there was unemployment. So actually when these Amur falcons were present in large numbers, say they thought that it is a God-given gift. So God has given us food, so we should make use of it. Or God has given these Amur falcons, so let us utilize them in some manner and make commercial activity out of them. So it was giving additional income for what? For funding their students, their children's education. And also the Amur falcons come at a very crucial time, which is the celebration of Topoimong Harvest Festival. So it is matching, so festival time, so they also got more food. So that's why they were trying to do this. So NPWCT along with Conservation India, then BNHS and few other NGOs, they all came together. They created something called Friends of the Amur Falcon. So in the initial period in 2012, what they did was, they gathered students, so around 200 children of that location, especially the Okha area, they gathered them and they created eco clubs, and these eco clubs started educating these children. At the same time, they also started targeting not targeting, rather you can say that engaging with the smaller children, because they thought that children will be able to better understand the conservation story. And you can also see our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Nifu Rio, who is meeting with the eco club students in 2012 and interacting with them.
I feel that I'm blessed to have had this opportunity of, having to be part of this conservation movement, and academically also I have gained a lot. I think the Amur falcons have given me the identity, which is very important for many of us who work out there in the field and we collect data, collect information. We see is that it started off in the Pankti village. That is the root, and Pankti village will always have that identity for that, But parallelly, it also created opportunities for other people to emulate the same thing. So the people of Longling, people of Hakize, and Besupukam village, Intanki, and so many other places, Hakize, all of these people immediately started to follow in line. And what is really interesting is that from Nagaland, the same initiative spread over into Manipur, and they have a similar conservation initiative. And then similarly into Assam, in the adjoining parts of Nagaland, Dimahasao district, and then in Meghalaya. So this is something like a dream that many of us researchers who usually aspire for. You start up a project at a particular site because you are limited with funds and you need to bring out results from there. But then naturally, before even I can write the recommendations of what needs to be done next, there is already actions happening. So Amur falcon conservation is not site-specific or site-focused conservation. It is actually landscape conservation. So we need all of the support of all of the villages, in fact, the whole of Nagaland, whole of Manipur, and that is really happening, and that's very much happening. So that's covered in this. And then of course, the report talks about in detail about the beauty of these birds, the incredible things that these birds do. And we have also tried to understand why these birds do this. This was so crucial, also primarily in the initial start, to help us understand where are the conservation efforts that needs to be put. Because given that Nagaland is such a remote mountainous habitat, mountainous area, reaching out to communities across the landscape is also a challenge. So there are lots of constraints. So one of the key important aspects is to understand where are the stopover sites. So if Panti is an area where we are initiating conservation actions, similarly elsewhere, similar such conservation actions are required. So I think the tracking study helped us understand how these birds are using each of these stopover sites. And then their incredible migration going all the way down to southern Africa and then going up to the Amur region. Why do these birds do this? Why in nature such things happen? There are a lot of birds that come to India on their migration. They're happy settling down here in Nagaland or maybe going down to Tamil Nadu, which is my home state. They stay there through the winter and then return back. So what is so different about the Amur falcons that they have to make another 10-15,000 kilometer trip down all the way down to southern Africa and then come back. So there are some fascinating insights on that which Ms. Amarjit would maybe present that later. And the last aspect of it is also something that most people have ended up asking me all through the time when this conservation effort started off. One thing is that local people are, they can hunt these birds, and of course they're not hunting, but there are these places where people can hunt. Why would Amur falcons still decide to go and stop there? Why not go and stop in Maharashtra? So what is so unique and what is so special here in Nagaland that even with a lot of hunting that used to happen?
Well known as the falcon capital of the world. It is believed that Amur falcons were seen since 100 years back during the time of our forefathers. And we used to call the Amur falcons as Eninam in our Lotha own dialect. During our childhood time also, we witnessed the falcons flying in the sky in search of flying termites in the evening, but were only recognized after taming the Toyang River by Toyang Hydro Power Station (THCPs) under NIPCO notice in 2000. The Amur falcons arrived during second week of October and stays till the end of November. The migratory bird Amur falcons were spotted crossing at Repangdi village under Wukha district in Nagaland in the year 2001. 2001 in flock of thousands, and subsequent years the flock gradually increased to massive in numbers, but owing to the lack of awareness for conservation of wildlife, the villagers, hunters in traditions, started hunting the birds in commercial scales for sustenance from 2006 to 2012. The villagers used the fishing nets from one tree to another to catch the Amur falcons. They used to sell the birds in the marketplace during that time. Their income from selling the birds were more than 10 to 15,000 per day. However, the massive killings of Amur falcons were proved to fall in 2012 to 2013 through the efforts of the Conservation India and its associates like forest departments, the Nagaland Wildlife and Biodiversity Conservation Trust, Wildlife of India, etc., and NGOs, etc. Following the exposures of the random killings, the Amur falcons till 2012, awareness campaign for conservation and protection of the migratory bird, Amur falcons, were started on war footing in 2013 by the State Forest and Wildlife and various departments and NGOs like Conservation Trust, PNHS, etc., involving the entire community, roasting area landowners, village council, churches, etc. Responding to the awareness campaign, the roasting area landowners, the village councils, together with the entire community, resolved to conserve and protect the falcons in Pangdi village. and prohibited the killing of Amur falcon in the year 2013. And in 2014, the roosting area landowners formed a group called Amur Falcon Roosting Area Union, Afro Pangdi Village, to conserve and protect the falcons in Pangdi Village. Till today, the Afro Pangdi Village considered as the main protector of the Amur falcons. In recognition to the efforts of the conservation and protection of the Amur falcons in Pangdi Village has been conferred with various prestigious awards by the various agencies as follows. The Meritorious Awards 2014 by the Department of Forest, Government of Nagaland. Number 2, the Governor's Commendation Certificate by Government of Nagaland. Number 3, the Earth Heroes Award 2014 by the Royal Bank of Scotland. Number 4, the Palibari Foundation Annual Award 2014 by the Government of Assam. On the other hand, the Pangdi Village under Woka District, Nagaland is given a prestigious name as the falcon capital of the world. But unfortunately, in 2021, the night roasting of the Amur falcon has been shifted to the upper stream of Toyang Dam, that is, in the jurisdiction of Areot village, some 2 to 3 kilometers away from the original roasting place, the previous roasting place. The reason behind the shifting of the night roasting place might be because of the climate change, deforestation, or human habitation. Till now, we don't know. However, the day roasting is still doing in Pangdi village. Therefore, the Afro Pangdi village is still dedicated in conservation and protection of the Amur falcons. We love you, Amur falcons. Adding to that, I would like to request everyone to
I am representing Pangdi Village Students Union, and I would like to. I don't have more to say since the other speakers have already mentioned about the Amur falcon story, but I am standing here to acknowledge some various departments and organizations who have been a leading role in this success story. First of all, I would like to give a special thanks to a respected Ma'am Banu Haralu, Managing Trustee, Nagaland Wildlife and Biodiversity Conservation Trust, and also most respected Sir Dr. R. Suresh, Scientist at Wildlife Institute of India and team, and also Nagaland Forest and Climate Change Department, and also various departments, organizations, and various unions, NGOs, those who work together to come this far. With the coming of this Amur falcon in Pangdi village, the Pangdi village has drawn global attention by protecting thousands of Amur falcons. The journey of Amur falcons has been a source of fascination, discovery, and endless excitement for bird enthusiasts, especially for the people of Nagaland. So as of now, according to report, Pangdi village has been receiving numerous visitors from locals, national and international visitors, from students to researchers and to media. Also, the Afro president have earlier mentioned, in a significant achievement, the village has also received various awards which he has mentioned before. In addition to that, many positive changes have come up with this economy of the area, and village also increased with the conservation of Amur falcons, where some protection squad were given an honorarium from the Government of India and Wildlife Trust of India also. And some are employed as tourist guides, which were also paid an honorarium. In that way, in many areas, different areas, the economy, there is an impact in the economy life also. Lastly, to conclude my speech, I would like to say a huge thank you and respect to the whole team, which I cannot mention everyone, the leading individuals, the leading departments, organizations, unions, and various NGOs for your hard work, for your commitment, for your time, effort, energy, and everything. Though we have nothing to give you in return, but we are really proud of you all and for this success story. And thank you in return for making us, for making my village, for making our village proud also for, because of your hard work and commitment. So to conclude, I would like to end with this. Due to massive conservation efforts put in by various NGOs working in Bangti village, the Bangti village has earned recognition and reputation and has recognized as the Falcon capital of the world in the year 2013. Thank you so much.
In India, for the first time, support conservation works in Nagaland by assisting Nagaland Wildlife Biodiversity Conservation Trust, Friends of Amar Falcon, campaign from 2013, namely Wildlife Conservation Trust, Wildlife Conservation Society, Combined National History Society, Raptor Research Conservation Foundations, along with state government or forest department and district administration. The NGOs not only make a series of Amar Falcon conservation successful, but also establish Eco Club in Bangti and adjoining villages, especially to stop hunting of birds and animals. The campaign to stop hunting of birds and animals with Eco Club students, the most opinion from different individuals was to ban sales of arrogant pellets in our state. Then, so that we are saving thousands of birds every day. If we could make this mission successful, we will again commemorate more cheerful than today from Nagaland Wildlife Biodiversity Conservation Trust.
Good afternoon, one and all, and greetings to you all on the 10th-year celebration of Amar Falcon Conservation of Nagaland. My name is Joel Sumi, and I stand here on behalf of Nikego Village, the roosting place of Amar Falcon under Newland and Dimapur district. A brief story of Amar Falcon at Nikego Village. Years back in the year 2000, thousands of unknown birds covered the sky of our village every evening, and it was a fascinating sight to see and behold. No one knew the bird's name or where it came from. There was no security, no conservative measures from both the government or from the village authority. Later in the year 2021, Sri Hukai H. Jimo member, Wildlife Division, Dimapur district, along with our GBs and village councils, visited the roosting place of the birds, which came to be known as Amar Falcon, also known as the state's special guest, and started taking initiative to conserve the guest bird since 2021 until then. With due initiative from the Forest Department Government of Nagaland, our village received some financial help and also some materialistic helps to conserve and protect the birds. And since 2021, the GBs and the village council has taken every possible steps to conserve and preserve the migratory birds, Amar Falcon, within the village jurisdictions, as per the guidelines of the Government of Nagaland and Government of India. With council members as a team leader, along with some villagers, they are enlisted of their duties every day by Sri Hokishe Jumbo, council chairman, since 2021 until then. Now the village council is in full swing to construct a watchtower at the roosting site with a allotted fund received from the Wildlife Division, Dimapur District Government of Nagaland. Since the conservative measures has been taken by the village council, strict actions has been served against the defaulters. The birds are now well restored, and the council is very pleased with the cooperation received from both the villagers and the neighboring villages. Every year we have a visitor from near and far on the roosting side of the Amar Falcon, but this year we had special visitors like Srimati Sarah Jammer DC, Newland, and our staffs, Sri M. Shakibai Yangchungo, IFS and Director, State Environment Forestry Training Institute, and his colleagues with 27 trainees, forest officers from both Newland and Dimapur districts, wildlife preservation officers, Hornbill TV, wildlife photographers from Jorhat, Assam, and various NGOs and public leaders from Dimapur and Durin district. Amur falcon usually comes to the roosting site in our village in the first week of October and migrates off on the first week of December every year. Lastly, I would like to thank the government of India and also the government of Nagaland for enlightening our people about the conservation of wildlife and for the funds related to our village for the preservation of the migratory bird. I would also like to earnestly request our visiting government to kindly increase the fund allotments and equipments required for the betterment and the smooth functioning of the duties for safeguarding our guest, that is Amur falcon. Thank you, one and all.
Next, I would like to call members of Eco Warriors to kindly come and receive a small token from Supong sir.
Go back.
Thank you. Now I would like to invite Eco Warriors, if they are present, to kindly come and take a small token. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Now I will request Hemant sir, Conservator of Forest, to kindly do the honors. Now I would like to request Nature Conservation Foundation members to kindly come. Thank you. Now, Foundation for Ecological Security members can kindly come. Thank you. Now I would like to request Amur Falcon Landowners Union or AFRU to kindly come. Thank you, Hemant sir. Now I request Madam Zutunglo. Thank you. Now I would like to request members of Hakise village to kindly come. Now I would like to request Nikeku village members to kindly come. Nikeku village members. Now, we would like to invite members of Nagaland Wildlife and Biodiversity Conservation Trust to kindly come. I would like to request Tokaho to kindly give a small token to Virpal sir or Chief Wildlife Warden. So, is that BNHS member present here? Member from BNHS? For being here. So, we'll have a group photograph, and then after that, we have a delicious lunch which is